Got the search warrant.
Good. Now, all we need is the time to get you over to Colton's apartment and run around.
If you can get me 45 minutes or an hour, that should be plenty of time for me to find something, if there's anything to find.
Look, I'll put you on the stand first, then ask for recess.
Well, Mr. Bancroft, not ready to call it quits today?
Don't be too sure of yourself, Colton. We still have a few surprises.
The only surprise during this entire trial has been the fact that it's gone on for as long as it has.
Brian, just give me 1 hour, that's all I need.
All rise. This court is now in session. Judge Alan Maxwell presiding.
Be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Bancroft, are you prepared to conclude your case today?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, then let's proceed. Please call your first witness.
I would like to recall Officer Larry Ewing to the stand.
Mr. Larry Ewing, please take the stand.
I hope you don't mind my dropping in unexpectedly this morning.
Of course not, Mr. Bond.
I think I have some very good news for you.
Is that so?
I received a call last night from our man working at the connection.
Yes?
Well, he says we now have definite proof the mob is still actively involved in that operation.
And Mitch Blake is involved?
Of course.
Never have believed he could be mixed up in mob activities.
Well, perhaps not, but he is at least guilty by association.
This will help me gain custody of Amanda?
Definitely. That is what you want, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. I just hate the way I had to go about getting it. Thank you. Rachel, I've got to talk to you now.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
Officer Ewing, do you, recognize this bullet?
I believe that's a bullet I presented earlier as evidence.
And will you tell us again where you found it?
Objection, Your Honor. The defense is doing it again. He's simply bringing up old evidence and rehashing it in order to stall these proceedings.
Mr. Bancroft, frankly, I don't see where you're planning to proceed by reintroducing the bullet as evidence.
I do have a purpose for this line of questioning, Your Honor. The only reason I'm asking these questions that I do now is to reestablish for the jury where this bullet came from and how it was found, so there'll be no confusion.
Very well. But if I find the testimony unwarranted, I will sustain Mr. Colton's objection and have the testimony stricken.
Yes, Your Honor. Again, Officer Ewing, will you tell the court where you found the bullet?
It was embedded in the wall of Jordan Scott's living room.
But you did not find this bullet at the time of the investigation, did you?
No, sir, I did not.
Can you tell us why?
No, sir, I can't.
Well, will you tell the court what prompted you to search for a second bullet?
It was something the DA said during the questioning of Captain Petroni.
Your Honor, I would like the court reporter to read the questioning of Captain Petroni.
Very well. Miss Moore?
Mr. Colton, when you found the gun, Captain, were there any bullets left in the chamber? Captain Petroni, no. Mr. Colton, so when the shots were fired, Blaine Ewing literally emptied the gun into the body. Mr. Bancroft, I object, Your Honor. It has been established that only one shot was fired that night. Mr. Colton's comments are based purely on conjecture.
Now, Officer Ewing, what was it in that statement that prompted your action?
It was Mr. Colton's use of the word gunshots that indicated to me that he had some knowledge of there being more than one gunshot fired at the time of...
Objection, Your Honor. Now, I think it is quite obvious what has happened here. The defense is simply grasping for straws. Now, my use of the term gunshots was a mere slip of the tongue. Now, nothing was meant by it. However, Officer Ewing might choose to interpret it. Now, we have consistently referred to a single gunshot in this trial, and on the day in question, I simply pluralized the term. Now, the fact that Officer Ewing has found a second bullet is coincidental indeed, but it has nothing to do with the actual death of Jordan Scott.
Objection sustained. Mr. Bancroft, was the purpose of this testimony merely to elicit the fact that Mr. Colton had misused the word gunshots?
Yes, Your Honor. And to show cause that the prosecutor may have had additional information which had been withheld.
Your Honor, I object most vigorously to the implication that I have been withholding information from this...
Sustained. Mr. Bancroft. Mr. Bancroft's remarks will be stricken from the record. Mr. Bancroft, I will have to sustain Mr. Colton's original objection, and all the subsequent testimony will be stricken. Now, I instruct you to drop this line of questioning and proceed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can I get you anything?
No, thank you.
Won't you sit down?
What's this all about, Mac? You sounded very strange on the phone.
Well, I discovered something today that I have to talk with you about.
Discovered what?
I've learned something that will weight the custody trial very heavily in my favor.
What did you learn?
I can't tell you exactly.
Well, then why did you call me here?
I wanted to talk to you because I want to see if you and I can't reach some kind of compromise about Amanda, just between you and me. Some sort of a settlement, so you don't have to be hurt in court any more than you've already been hurt.
There's no way we can settle anything, Mac, unless you're willing to drop the custody case and give me back my daughter.
That's out of the question.
Then we have nothing further to discuss.
Rachel, what I wanted to talk to you about. All right, I'll say it. I don't think you should say no to me about this until you have a very serious talk with Mitch Blake.
What about?
About the place where he works. About the people that he associates with.
What are you saying?
I can't tell you any more than that.
I don't know what it is you think you have on Mitch. But I know he would never do anything that he didn't think was right. And as for my daughter, I will never willingly give her up.
Now, Officer Ewing, you recently had occasion to be granted a second search warrant in regard to this case.
That's right.
Now, can you tell us why you sought this second search warrant?
Well, I knew that if I could find Jordan Scott's black book, It could answer a lot of questions about this case.
Objection, Your Honor. Now, the existence of this mysterious black book has never yet been proven.
That is true, Your Honor. But I intend at this time to prove that it does exist.
Overruled. Please proceed, Mr. Bancroft.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Officer Ewing, have you found the black book?
Yes, I have.
Is this the book you found?
Yes.
Have you read the contents of this book?
Yes, I have.
And do you have reason to believe that this book belonged to Jordan Scott?
Yes.
Objection. Now, Your Honor, there is no proof that this book did once belong to Jordan Scott.
Well, I intend to prove it, Mr. Colton.
Overruled. Proceed, Mr. Bancroft.
Now, Officer Ewing, can you verify that this book belonged to Jordan Scott?
Yes, I saw him with it more than once in his office.
Now, will you please tell the jury where this book was found?
In Zachary Colton's apartment.
Order. Order.
Your Honor, at this time, I request a recess of 1 hour.
For what purpose, Mr. Bancroft?
Well, we're awaiting an important piece of additional evidence that has not yet arrived.
Very well. Granted, this court will recess for 1 hour. Mr. Colton, I think it best that you remain in my chambers until we resume.
To Ilsa is way overdue.
Ilsa, yeah.
Here's your number.
Look, Melissa, in the first place, there's no guarantee that Ilsa's going to be straight with me if I do this. And in the second place, where am I going to come up with that kind of money? I mean, $100,000.
Come on, Sandy, please. Just call her. And then you'll know what she says, you know what it's all about, and you know what you have to do.
All right, I'll call her first thing in the morning, okay?
You sure?
Yes, operator, I'd like to call Las Vegas. Person to person to Ilsa Fredericks from Sandy Alexander. My number is 555-7475. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Well?
Well, what?
You said you wanted to talk.
Oh. Yeah, I do.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about us.
What about us?
I've been kind of depressed lately.
Sorry to hear that. Is something wrong?
I don't know how you feel about Jerry.
Joey, I've told you already, I don't know right now how I feel about Jerry.
All right. Well, I don't want to rush you into any decision about how you feel about Jerry. But I think you should know how I feel about you.
How's that?
I think that you should know that I love you.
Hello?
Ilsa, this is Sandy.
Sandy, dear boy, it's been such a long time since I've heard from you. I hear you've had a very adventuresome life since you left here.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I also hear you've been very indiscreet lately about keeping our deep, dark secrets.
Yeah, well, Ilsa, that's kind of why I called you.
Really? Oh, it seems to me it's a little like closing the gate after the horse got out.
Ilsa, have you sent somebody here to get me?
Now, why would I do that, dear boy?
I know you pretty well.
Yes, I suppose you do. Our association has been a rather lengthy one, hasn't it?
I want to buy my way out, Ilsa.
You have $100,000?
I can get it.
When, dear boy?
Soon.
You realize, of course, that I won't be kept waiting long. Or that is, if I'm interested in letting you out.
Oh, I think you're interested, Ilsa. You've always liked money.
Oh, I don't know, darling. Money isn't everything.
Well, if that's the case, let's just forget I called, all right?
Don't be hasty.
All right, Ilsa. Let's quit playing games, okay? If I get the money, I want you to guarantee you'll get off my back.
Well, naturally, dear boy. You have my word.
Yeah. Well, when I get the money, I'll contact you.
I'll wait with bated breath. Hello, Hannah. This is Ilsa. I just want you to know that the lamb has just set himself up for the slaughter.
Jamie? Look, you got a minute?
Yeah?
How'd it go?
Well, I don't know how else it could go. I mean, every time I mention I was clean the night they brought me in, everybody looks at me like I'm crazy.
Well, I mean, you did keep repeating that over and over again, you know.
Did I?
Yeah.
But you didn't believe me?
It's not a matter of not believing you, it's just...
Yeah, I know. My system was loaded with drugs and alcohol. Right, I know.
No.
I've heard that phrase so many times, I'm beginning to hear it in my sleep.
Yeah.
But, Rick, I think I know what happened to me now.
What do you mean? You mean the night of the party?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
I think somebody drugged me.
What makes you say that?
That doesn't surprise you?
Why don't... Should it?
Well, that depends.
What are you getting at?
Well, it's just that I've had a lot of time to think about what went on in the party and who might have had something to gain by drugging me, almost to the point of killing me.
And who do you think that might be?
Could you?
Man. Don't you know who your friends are?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, come on in.
Hello.
Hey.
See, they got you working here.
Yeah, babe, what are you doing here?
I was just accidentally passing by, so I decided I would stroll on in.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Me too. So, did you talk to Ilsa? Did you call her?
Yes, I did.
Well?
It's on.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to know everything. I want you to tell me absolutely everything that happened.
All right. I offered to buy my way out, and she agreed.
That's all?
Well, you know, Ilsa's a pretty cagey lady. She's also pretty greedy. I wouldn't put it past her to take my money and then have me killed anyway.
Yeah. I think you have to take the chance, though, Sandy. I really do.
Yeah, I know. It's only one small problem.
What's that?
I have to come up with $100,000.
How come the police should check in Mr. Colton's apartment again? Sorry, that's police business. Sure. Whatever you say.
Russ?
Oh, yes. Come in, Mac, please.
Thank you. I came over as soon as I could.
Yes, thanks. I appreciate that. I could have come over to your place, but it got very busy around here.
Oh, no. That's not necessary. It's much easier for me to leave my office than for you to leave here. Well, what was it you wanted to discuss? It sounded as if it was serious.
Yeah, well, come sit down, Mac. It is serious. It is, and I didn't think we should discuss it on the phone.
It's something about Jamie.
Yes, it is.
What's happened to him?
Well, now, wait a minute. It's not so much what has happened. It's what might be happening.
Oh, I don't understand.
Well, I spoke with Rick Holloway earlier, and he's very upset about some of the things that Jamie has said to him.
Oh? What sort of things?
Well, apparently, Jamie believes that someone deliberately drugged him at that party.
Oh, yes, I know. He told me that, too.
Oh, did he? Or did he also suggest to you that he thought it might have been Rick who did it?
No, he didn't. Why on earth would he think Rick would give him drugs?
I don't know. I don't know, and Rick doesn't know. Jamie hasn't said. But what bothers me the most is that Jamie seems to believe what he said.
Yes, that disturbs me, too. But what is it you're getting at?
Jamie seems to be confusing what he wants to believe with reality. And if he continues to...
Russ, I'm totally bewildered by Jamie lately. Excuse me, I was at the penthouse recently. I found myself thinking, he's not being rational. Coming up with this bizarre story about someone else feeding him drugs. I just can't understand. I had previously been at the hospital and talked to him. He seemed very willing to get himself in order again.
Yeah, but wanting to pull things together, Mac, just might not be enough.
What do you mean?
Well, if this thing continues to get out of hand, well, then we may have to take some other action.
What you're saying is that you have to consider the possibility of having him institutionalized. Is that it?
Yeah. We may not have any other choice.
Hi, Liz. Is Cecile there? Oh, she's not. Do you know when she'll be back? Oh, she's on her way home, you think, huh? Okay. All right, I'll see you soon. What? No, I'm fine. I'm feeling fine now. Yes. No, my mother's fine, too. No, I've got to... Liz, there's someone at the door. I've got to go. Right. Yeah, bye. Listen, hi.
Can I come in?
Yeah, sure.
Listen, I went to look for you over at the complex, but they said that you weren't there.
No, I had an appointment.
Well, I just took a chance that I'd find you here, and I tried calling, but there wasn't any answer.
I must have been in the shower. Can I get you something?
Yeah.
There's something wrong, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Tell me.
It's Sandy.
What's the matter with him?
He's in a lot of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
If we don't come up with an awful lot of money, real quick, Sandy's going to be killed.
I don't understand.
I know. See, you were in the hospital when Sandy testified at Blaine's trial. So you don't know the whole story, but I'm telling you, the people that have been after Sandy are going to kill him unless we can come up with $100,000.
$100,000?
Jamie, I never would have come here to ask you for any help, but I just didn't know where to turn.
Yeah, well, $100,000 isn't easy to come by.
Well, Sandy would never come, and I know he wouldn't come to Mac to ask for it. Jamie, he needs it. He really needs it desperately.
Well, I'd like to help Sandy. I'll go and ask Mac and see what he can do.
Would you do that? I know it sounds like I'm begging. I am. Please, for Sandy's sake, please see if you can try to get it.
Where can he possibly be, Brian? What's taking him so long?
Well, I guess we just have to face the fact that he wasn't able to find anything.
What if he's not able to find something?
We'll have to do the best we can with what we have, so don't worry.
This court is now in session. Mr. Bancroft, are you ready to resume your defense?
Your Honor, I'm afraid that we just don't
Brian.
have... Yes, Your Honor. We are ready to resume.
Very well, then let's proceed. If I remember correctly, Mr. Ewing was on the stand. Now, do you wish to continue your examination of this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Ewing in the courtroom?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
Mr. Ewing, would you please take the stand? And remember, Mr. Ewing, that you are still under oath.
Officer Ewing, would you tell the court where you have been this past hour?
I've been conducting a search of Zachary Colton's apartment.
For which you had a search warrant?
Yes, I did.
Now, were you able to find anything that might have a bearing on this trial?
Yes, I believe I did.
Would you please tell us what you found?
A tape recording of a conversation between Zachary Colton and Jordan Scott.
Order.
And is the recording of that conversation on this machine?
Yes.
Your Honor, I request permission to play this tape recording.
You have it. Proceed.
What I called you here for is business, Zachary. Business that needs taken care of. Business, huh? Yeah, something of notable importance to both of us, I would suggest. I would also suggest that you find it urgent and worthy of your valuable time.
All right, Jordan, come on. What is this business we got?
Well, we have a certain partnership, one that involves a debt. Perhaps it's time to settle that debt.
Are you calling my markers, Jordan?
You might say that.
All right, how much do I owe?
It's a considerable sum, but one I think we can reconcile.
Gonna need a little time for this. I can give you some of it.
Please, there's no need to pull out your checkbook. I don't want to force you to come up with all this money.
What do you mean?
Just perhaps we can settle this in another way without any worries.
Well, all right. What do you have in mind?
You could refuse, but I don't think it would be too good for your image if it got out that the district attorney owed a rather sizable gambling debt to you. Could jeopardize your further aspirations.
All right, Jordan. Well, maybe we can work something out.
That's what I figured.
Oh, Mac, I'm glad you're in. I'm not interrupting you, am I?
No, I was just thinking.
Mac,
What can I do for you?
Well, I have something very important to tell you.
Is it about Jamie?
No, Sandy.
Oh, what about Sandy?
Do you know that his life is in danger?
Well, yes, of course. That's why I've got bodyguards with him.
Do you know who these people are that are after him?
No. All I know is that some people from his past want very much to see him hurt. I'm hoping that now he's already testified at Blaine's trial, that he's out of danger and the threat is over.
Mac, I can't tell you how I know this, but the threat is not over. But I did find out today that there's a way to get Sandy out of the trouble that he's been in once and for all.
How?
if he can get a very large sum of money, he can pay these people off.
What people are they?
I don't know. I just know that he needs this money, but he's not going to ask you for it. Mac, Sandy has become so close to Jamie and me. I would hate to see anything happen to him. Is there anything that you can do?
Of course there is. How much money does he need?
$100,000, and he needs it right now.
I'll arrange to get the money. Then I'll talk to Sandy.
Oh, Mac, thank you so much. And please, don't tell Sandy that I came to you. Unless, of course, you have to.
I have no further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Do you wish to cross-examine Mr. Colton?
No.
You may step down, Mr. Ewing. Mr. Bancroft, do you have any further witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Zachary Colton to the stand.
Order. Mr. Colton. Mr. Colton.
Mr. Colton, were you at the home of Jordan Scott the night he was killed?
Yes.
Why were you there?
He was trying to blackmail me with this tape, and I went there to see if I could reason with him.
But you didn't see him prior to his being shot?
No.
Were you there the night of the shooting?
I had just arrived when I heard the shots.
Shots?
Shots. Yes, there were 2 shots. The second one was somewhat muffled.
Well, after you heard the shots, did you go inside to see what happened?
No, not immediately, no.
Why not?
She came running out. I heard her coming towards the door.
Did you try to stop Miss Ewing?
No, she came out the door and went down the drive into the street.
What happened next?
Well, I went into the house, and I stood in the hallway for just a moment, but I didn't hear any noise. And then I heard Jordan call from the living room, so I walked in. And he was lying on the floor. He seemed to be conscious, but in pain.
Help me.
And he asked me to help him. Well, then he reached for the gun, which was lying on the floor beside him. Well,
You've got to help me.
I moved the gun out of reach, and then I noticed the book, the black book which was lying at his feet. So I picked it up and began to look through it. I wanted to see if there was anything about me in the book.
Oh, Jordan. Looks like I got the trump card this time.
So I put the book in my pocket and I started to leave, but then it occurred to me that he might not be very seriously hurt and might live, might continue to plague me. So it was then I remembered that I had the Tepper and sodium in my pocket. I'd had the prescription filled that day. So I prepared an injection for it. Jordan was too weak to do anything. He simply laid there and watched me. And then I injected him with the fluid. And then I remembered just cleaning fingerprints off the gun just to be sure. I didn't want to leave any marks behind. And so I left.
But you made one error. You left your vial of Tepper and sodium next to the body. And the police photographers had already started taking pictures. You did murder Jordan Scott, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I killed him.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
But he deserved to die, you know. He was an evil man. Jerry Grove was right. You know, he did kill his mother. Tried to kill Jerry Grove, too, in the parking lot. But that wasn't all he did. I mean, he did a lot of things. And he had to pay for it. See, he tried to ruin me, you know. He tried to prevent me from becoming mayor. He was going to use that tape to blackmail me. He just played on my weaknesses. I mean, he knew that I liked to gamble, that I couldn't help myself. So he let me win. And then he took it all away again. He let me run up big debts, and then he tried to hold that over my head. I would have made a very good mayor, you know. But I wouldn't have stopped there. I would have gone on. I would have gone to the State House and into the Senate. Who knows how far. But Jordan Scott stood in my way. You got greedy, Jordan, and you wanted everything, didn't you? So, there wasn't any choice, Jordan. You had to die.
It's over, Blaine.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it's all over.
Well, there are a few things that will have to be cleared up, but I don't think there'll be any problems.
Brian, what's going to happen to Zachary now?
Well, he'll be taken to a hospital. Well, they'll run some psychological tests on him to see if he's mentally fit to stand trial.
You know, even after all he's put me through, I can't help but feel sorry for him.
Larry, I want you to take her home so she can get some rest. And we'll talk about this again on Monday.
I think I will finally be able to sleep tonight.
Thanks for everything, Brian.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another Work.